It seems to me like they're a band that would partake in such sandwiches.
Yeah. I wasn't even hungry till we started this podcast. Do you think everyone feels that way? Like these guys, God damn it, I'm trying to drive home from work and now I'm starving. You know?
I could imagine that we've encouraged some pretty bad habits over the years.
Yeah, not just food.
See, that's why I could never be a listener of this show, because I think that I probably wouldn't survive it.
Yeah, I couldn't be because it sucks.
Citizens of Earth, welcome to Accelerativ Thrust. I'm Dan.
And I'm Erik.
Did you see in the news that Bruce Dickinson, well, it's not even just Bruce Dickinson, it's the entire band of Iron Maiden are telling their fans to, I guess, leave their phones alone during their concerts.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can see that.
Yeah, I can too. If there's one thing that I support that is going to control somebody else, it's that.
Yeah.
Because now, all right. So hear me out, though. In one sense, I'm kind of against the rule, because I believe if you pay for the ticket, you should be able to do whatever the hell you want. Like, you should be able to just like stand outside of the venue and not watch the concert if you really wanted to.
Yeah, it's your life. Go ahead and ruin it. That's what I always say.
On the other hand, why would you? And I've always thought this ever since it became normal to a sea of rising phones, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like people coming together and just violence, to like, mosh pit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, phones are getting in the way of violence.
Yeah, phones are getting in the way of violence, exactly. So, but no, there is something that is kind of annoying about that.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, so as far as phones at concerts go, what I've started to do is just have some fun with it. So, let's say someone in front of me is photographing or taking a video of a concert. Then I will get my phone out and zoom in and tape them taping the concert, because I think that's really fun. Or if someone it's like a local show and I know the people in front of me and they're taking a picture, I'll take a picture of them taking a picture and then message it to them, and then they see themselves taking a picture. But my favorite thing to do is, if everyone has their phones out, bring up a picture of hog balls. Like big hog balls, and then hold it up, and so everyone behind me has to see these hog balls, and I think that's really funny. So, anyway,
I feel like the annoying parts of camera phones is a little less so at local shows.
Yeah, except I'm a known criminal. And I really don't like people filming me. Like, I think you should have to ask.
Oh, okay, because I'm an unknown criminal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
an anonymous criminal.
It's a lot better to be anonymous when you're a criminal. I don't know if anyone knows that or not, but I littered one time.
Snap.
Yeah.
I killed a guy.
And it was on the ground. Do you know what they do to litterers in Iowa?
They kill him. That's why I killed the guy I killed.
Wait, are you the one that killed me?
Yeah.
Oh, it all makes so much sense now.
Classic conundrum. Meet the person that killed you.
Man, I love that. Love that word, conundrum. That is so good. Like, it sounds like an instrument.
Yeah, that's true.
Billy over there on the conundrums.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. We should invent an instrument called the conundrum.
We should.
I like it. Let's go with it.
What does the word actually mean? Conundrum.
A conundrum?
Yeah.
I think it's like a situation that is hard to navigate because you understand both sides of a situation.
That's right.
There's pros and cons and things like that. It's quite a conundrum.
Yeah. You're in quite a conundrum. Kind of like Oh, I don't know.
A pickle.
Pickle. Yeah, you're in a pickle or predicament. Predicament.
Or a depicklement.
Depicklement.
Oh my God.
God, that sounds tasty.
I'd try a pickle mint.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, some pickle mint relish? Like on lamb?
I bet it would be delicious.
Wow. All right.
Girl Scout cookie relish. Thin mint relish.
Thin pickle mints?
Thin pickle mints.
That was actually my stage name when I was young.
Thin pickle mints. Thin pickle mints on the conundrums.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Thin Pickle Mints, and here's my song. I think this is the first time we've just entertained ourselves.
I got to tell
with
you,
no regard for the listeners at all.
I like the new rockabilly direction we're going. All of a sudden, it's good.
This is my signature song. It's called Thin Pickle Mints. I'm Thin Pickle Mints. Here's my song.
We like to talk about a couple of records that we reviewed today, and I got my hair. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Because, rockabilly people, they always care about their hair and their appearance.
Yeah. Pompadours and circumstance. That's what I call it.
That sounds really familiar. Is that the name of something?
I don't know.
It really sounds like either an album name or a song name from somebody.
Pompadour and circumstance.
That's either way. It's
no, I don't see anything about that. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter.
So everyone out there, Pompadour and circumstance, you can have that for your rockabilly band for free on the house.
That sounds good to me. Pompadour and circumstance.
Yeah.
Hey, that speaking of records to review, the record that you picked is most certainly not a rockabilly record.
No, it's not.
Come on, everybody, it's record time.
Yeah. So my pick this episode is by a group called Prostitute, and the record is called Attempted Martyr. It came out last year. They are from Dearborn, Michigan. It consists of Mo and Andrew and Dylan and Ross and Brett. And this is a really wild, cool, shocking record, I think you could say. It has a really interesting aesthetic, makes you kind of wonder what it's all about, which is great. We don't always need all the answers. But yeah, I would say for the most part, it really does kind of incorporate a lot of what classic noise rock groups sound like. But I also find it thoroughly modern. And also it has this different feel to it, a different kind of angle about it. The opening track is Islamic Prayer. But as soon as you start listening to the first track, you start to understand that this isn't straightforward at all. The voice is really breathy, desperate, possibly. There's background, almost field recording sounds in this first track. And it really, kind of like the Haunting Barna record we reviewed, it doesn't give you any information about what's about to happen on the record. It just sort of sets the tone and the feel. It's a really great opener. I love it. From that moment on, though, we're into some really heavy noise rock. We can get into all that as we talk about it more. But yeah, that's kind of my outline of what the record is like.
Yeah, for me, this was just pretty much, not straight up or straightforward in any sense of the word. Like you were saying, Eric, kind of like that Haunting Barna intro, this kind of has the same type of aesthetic to it where, how some TV shows that you start the first season of and the 1st season is kind of building up to something. That's kind of what the intro of this is. Like you really got to kind of stick with it. And then I feel like you're heavily rewarded for doing so, because then it just turns into like very cathartic, like you were saying, Eric, super angry, dark noise rock. And there's a lot of different elements here that make it more than just that, for sure. Everything from the content to the presentation. There's even some, I would say, sounds on this record that I really don't know what they're
for sure
what they're being made by that I've never heard before on like any sort of noise or industrial. Like there's particularly on the song M Dada, there's a like a drilling effect that it literally sounds like they're using like a power tool or something. And yeah, it's just like a roller coaster of all kinds of things. The bass is so powerful. The drumming is maniacal. The vocalist is, I mean, seriously, like some of the most unsettling vocals in the best way. And it's almost like frightening, like the level of like anger and expression but it's all in such a great way. There's a lot of off kilter elements that I think kind of throw in like a no wave sort of, like a nod to no wave, maybe, that does make it off kilter. And I think kind of like a purposeful but uncomfortable and startling, exciting listening experience. I mean, those are all descriptions I would use for this.
For sure. And like you were saying about the sound of the power tools, and it does have this swirling element to it. And I do think like Mo, who does vocals, guitars, keyboards, and sampling, and also Andrew, who does drums and sampling, I think that sampling brings a whole nother level to this. Like they add a lot of like reedy sort of Middle Eastern sounds to things, and that gives it a certain vibe pretty much throughout the record. But it also adds these like this sense of panic to the whole thing. I think for me, it sounds a lot like alarms, like kind of if you think of like Terminator X in Public Enemy, you know, like there's a lot of alarm sounds. And I don't think that's by mistake. I think that this album, subject matter wise, is dealing with panic and other places in the world. And I think they're trying to, make us feel that a little bit. Not only the words saying this is what's happening, but to make you actually feel scared and panicked. And they pull it off 100%.
Yeah.
The drums, like you said maniacal. I think they're just driving as hell. Like they reminded me a lot of Liars. Like it's really a lot of toms, really busy, but really intense. The guitars are heavy, dissonant. But yeah, it's funny because I think the bass does a lot of the heavy lifting as far as like any melody that might be in the track, because the vocals I wouldn't say are necessarily always atonal, but there is that element there, kind of like David Yao. It is singing, but I wouldn't quite say that it's always melodic. But sometimes it is. Like there's a track called Senegal, and it breaks into like this really pretty kind of long singing moment, and it really reminds me of the track Zachariah by Jesus Lizard, the like Moses part. Yeah, so there's all these different things going on, but it really does have its roots in, I know it's funny to say classic noise rock, but it really does. I mean, it could be all kinds of things. Like I'll just go through like my recommended if you like, because I think it kind of explains some things. First and foremost, Jesus Lizard. I think that the vocals are similar. They're a little more exasperated and possibly even more intense, which is unbelievable probably. But that element's there. I think musically, the bass is similar to Jesus Lizard too. It reminded me a lot of No Means No, Swans. It reminded me of Crippling Alcoholism in a lot of different ways, but just in the sort of moody, desolate kind of feeling comes through sometimes. The Armed. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. I have to say, I've listened to this so many times, and I've been listening to it for like a while since it came out, and I just didn't pick it ever because I thought this might be a little too intense as far as the music, but also the aesthetic. I'm glad we finally got to talk about it and listen to it, because I really think if you listen to our show and you like the kind of things we review and listen to, this is really going to blow your mind.
Yeah. I think it's designed to be a little bit uncomfortable. Like I think they're trying to make you think and step out of your I don't know, your echo chamber of comfort a little bit,
Right.
and think about things. And I mean, everything from like, even like the name of the band, you know, you could see how that could possibly be off-putting to some people, you know?
Sure.
And yeah, I think everything is kind of designed to be that way. For me, the stuff that this reminded me of, a lot of the same things that you mentioned, Erik, Jesus Lizard, Swans, also Scratch Acid, but also MS Paint, Giddy Motors, Chat Pile, Thank, a band that we reviewed not that long ago.
Yeah.
The intensity of that, really, I felt there was a lot of parallels with, although I would say that the two bands are doing a completely different take on this sort of like noise rock thing. Little bit of Viagra Boys, like the vocalist kind of reminds me of that. And then Cop Shoot Cop, Today is the Day. Yeah, classic noise rock. Today is the Day is another group that I think is kind of designed to be a little uncomfortable and kind of get you out of the zone of comfort a little bit. But then there's also an element of the guitar work at times that I feel is oddly kind of almost rooted in, and I the same thing can also be said about a lot of noise rock, period. I think particularly Jesus Lizard, where there's like maybe somewhat of a blues root element to it. Like there's a group called Imdao Mokhtar that their music isn't necessarily like Prostitutes, but I feel like their presentation and what they're kind of using their music for, if that makes sense,
for sure,
has a lot of the same elements. But there is sort of sometimes where the guitar will kind of go off on sort of like a little bit of a, I guess, notey tangent every once in a while.
Yeah,
in
for
Prostitute,
sure.
and
Kind
so
of
like
slinky feeling.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if these two bands have crossed paths.
I think that they know each other and play together. The person that produced this Prostitute album also produced the Madhu Mokhtar record and the Armed. So it's all really similar, and I think that would be an awesome show.
Yeah,
you know?
it would be amazing. Well, and then also Imdu Mokhtar also has, because Imdu Mokhtar is actually the name of the guitarist,
right?
I believe he has or maybe it's not him, but at least one or two members of his band has a side project called Etiquette, which I believe is a little more on the noisier side.
Okay, cool.
So
wow, I'll have to check that out. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about it. I honestly, it floored me. It has been, and I think that's why I finally picked it. I was just like, after almost a year of being blown away by this, I'm still blown away by it. So that's a pretty good sign. If you keep coming back to something and every time it's unbelievable to you, that's a pretty big deal. So I just love it. I don't know.
It's really it's really killer. If you're a fan of noise rock, I see no reason why you would not enjoy this.
Prostitute, Attempted Martyr.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
What have you been listening to this week?
This week, a lot of repeat things. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So, Pure Pressure Zombies.
Nice.
That record is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to a little bit of Morphine, particularly the album Yes, with Honey White, which I think is legitimately one of the best songs of the 90s.
Wow. Cool.
Jeff Rosenstock, the album. So we reviewed the album Worry, but I've been listening to his album We Cool, and it has one of the best songs possibly ever written in sort of the singer-songwriter pop punk sort of thing that he does, called Nausea. Guided by Voices, been listening to both Propeller and Vampire on Titus. This album called UFO by this artist named Jim Sullivan. I think he put this out in like 68 or 69. And he put out this record and then put out a second record in 1972. Kind of like psychedelic folk country. I feel like he was maybe a pioneer in a lot of that stuff, like maybe the stuff that you hear from like Sturgill Simpson. You ever heard Sturgill Simpson before?
Yeah.
Kind of stuff like that. But like he, what's just as interesting is the story of Jim Sullivan after he put out the second record. So the first record didn't really do well. And I guess he was a little bit annoyed by that. So he put out a second record that I think maybe was a little more commercial sounding, perhaps. Haven't really heard the second record. It's a self-titled one, but he disappeared. And there's a lot of reports that he was last seen at some motel or maybe a gas station. And there's some people that say that he just kind of rode off into the desert and never came back. And his remains have never been found.
Whoa.
Yeah, really interesting mystery of rock. And then Jay Retard, I've been listening to the singles collection of 06 to 07. And then Ween, because when am I never listening to Ween?
Sure. Yeah.
Particularly the Chocolate and Cheese and Quebec records.
Nice.
So that's pretty much it for me. I mean, haven't really, nothing like too like new or anything surprising this week.
Yeah.
How about you, Eric?
I don't know. I've been listening to a bunch of nonsense, stuff that's unlistenable garbage, basically. I'm like really
the first
into
Ween records.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Like stuff that maybe isn't even music. I don't know. I've been really into this artist called Kavari. I think I mentioned him at least in the last couple episodes. I've been listening to the new album, and I think it's called Laudanum or Laudanum. I think it's like a antidepressant or something. So if you guys know how to say that drug, send us a message, a voicemail telling us how to pronounce it. I've been listening to sort of a hip hop experimental kind of thing called Damon Locks, and the record's called List of Demands, which is interesting because I do think there's it does have a Saul Williams feel to it sometimes. I've been listening to a record called More Insane by Undeath. Pretty good. And I've been listening to a record called Hoax. It's the newest one by Amnesia Scanner, whom I love. And
we reviewed an Amnesia Scanner album, right?
Probably. Yeah.
We did. That sounds really familiar.
It tracks. And the newest one, Hoax, is really good, but I like this sort of Another Life. It came out in 2018, and then Tearless came out in 2020. Both of those I like a lot.
Yeah.
And Hoax is pretty good. But those two is where I would start if I was going to get into them. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So not a lot of stuff to latch onto musically, you know. But that's how it goes.
I am hopefully I mean, I bought the ticket anyway, but I am hopefully going to be going to see the Melvins in September.
Oh, nice.
They're coming back to the Raccoon Motel.
Cool.
And they're playing with Red Cross. So
that's cool.
That bass player that you really like.
Double duty. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing double duty. So he's probably going to be hilarious twice on stage.
Yeah. Man, I really liked him. Like, I'm not going to say I have a crush on him or anything, but I think we connected.
Did you actually talk to him?
No, just gazed into each other's eyes and just laughed and just had a really fun night together without actually talking or knowing each other or anything like that.
Listeners can contact us if they would like to, hear about bands being talked to by us. Accelerativ.thrust@gmail.com. Wow. Or you can contact us on Instagram. So I guess we have no other option but to go to the old, go into outer space and say good night.
Yeah, we're gonna blast off.
Blast off.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Oh boy. That's why I killed the guy I killed.